Imagine stepping out of your apartment and seeing a shark swim past your window. Not in an aquarium, not through a screen, through your actual living room wall. This is Morning in Miami, 2080, where the boundary between ocean and city doesn't exist anymore. Because Miami didn't fight the rising seas. It surrendered. And in that surrender, it discovered something extraordinary. Welcome to Miami 2080, a city that exists in 3 dimensions. Surface dwellers still walk under open sky. But below them, hundreds of thousands live, work, and thrive in the most ambitious underwater habitat ever constructed. This isn't science fiction. This is adaptation. This is survival. This is the future. Today, we're diving deep, literally, into the streets, homes, and innovations of America's first true underwater metropolis. From the engineering miracles that make it possible, to the daily lives of people who call the ocean floor home. This is Miami 2080, where humanity learned to breathe beneath the waves. Let's rewind to understand how we got here. Miami in 2025 was already living on borrowed time. Built on porous limestone, the city couldn't build walls high enough. The ocean didn't just rise. It seeped through the ground itself. By 2035, king tides flooded downtown streets every single day. Not during storms. On sunny afternoons. Billion-dollar properties became worthless overnight. Insurance companies abandoned Florida entirely. The choice seemed simple: evacuate or perish. But Miami had something other coastal cities didn't. A marine biology genius named Dr. Elena Vasquez. In 2038, she published research that changed everything. She proved that humans could create sustainable underwater habitats using bioengineered coral as living construction material. Traditional construction underwater required constant maintenance. Pressure, corrosion, and marine life degraded structures. But Vasquez's living coral didn't just resist the ocean. It thrived in it. The coral grew stronger over time, self-repaired damage, and provided oxygen to interior spaces. The Miami Submersion Project launched in 2042. Not evacuation, transformation. Engineers began constructing the first permanent underwater residential district in Biscayne Bay. The plan was audacious. Relocate 300,000 residents beneath the waves within 15 years. Critics called it madness. Marine biologists warned of ecosystem destruction. Economists predicted financial catastrophe. Engineers questioned whether the technology could scale. Dr. Vasquez had one response: build a prototype and prove them wrong. Aqua District 1 opened in 2047. 50 families became the first permanent underwater residents in human history. The world watched with fascination and skepticism. Would they survive? Would the structures hold? Could people actually live normally 60 feet below the surface? The answer came fast. Not only did it work, residents reported unexpected benefits. The constant ambient temperature of the ocean meant no air conditioning costs. The sound of the ocean created natural white noise for better sleep. Marine life became entertainment, swimming past windows daily. Within 2 years, the waiting list for underwater housing reached 100,000 names. Real estate prices in subsurface Miami exceeded surface properties. The city that everyone said would die was being reborn. Not despite the rising ocean. Because of it. How do you build a city underwater? Let's start with the most critical element: pressure. At 60 feet deep, water pressure is nearly 3 times surface level. Traditional buildings would implode. Miami's solution? Geodesic dome structures made from transparent aluminum. Transparent aluminum, developed in 2053, is stronger than steel but completely see-through. Each dome can withstand pressures equivalent to 200 feet depth, providing massive safety margins. The hexagonal panel design distributes force evenly, making the structure nearly indestructible. But domes alone don't make a city. Miami built a 3-layer system. The foundation layer sits on the ocean floor, where industrial facilities, water processing, and power generation operate. Nobody lives here. This is the city's engine room. Above that, the residential layer. This is where people live. Dozens of dome neighborhoods, each housing 5 to 10,000 residents, connected by transparent tunnels that double as transit corridors and spectacular aquarium walks. The connecting tunnels revolutionized the concept of commuting. Your journey to work becomes an aquarium experience. Manta rays gliding overhead, sea turtles swimming alongside, tropical fish creating living kaleidoscopes around you. Finally, the interface layer. This is where underwater Miami connects to surface Miami. Massive elevator shafts, submersible vehicle ports, and emergency escape systems. The transition zone between two worlds. Oxygen comes from 3 sources. Bioengineered coral produces roughly 30% through photosynthesis. Electrolysis splits seawater into hydrogen and oxygen, providing another 50%. The remaining 20% is recycled from exhaled air through advanced scrubber systems. The coral serves another crucial function: food production. Coral reefs attract marine life. Miami farms this abundance sustainably. Underwater gardens cultivate fast-growing kelp and seaweed. Automated systems harvest fish populations without depleting them. Freshwater? That was actually easier underwater than on surface. Reverse osmosis facilities process seawater continuously. Every home has unlimited fresh water. The ocean provides endlessly. Miami's water crisis, which plagued the surface city for decades, simply vanished underwater. Climate control might surprise you. The ocean temperature at 60 feet stays constant year-round at 74 degrees Fahrenheit. No heating in winter. No cooling in summer. Each dome maintains perfect comfort with minimal energy. Surface Miami's billion-dollar cooling bills became obsolete underwater. Engineering is impressive. But what's it actually like to live there? Meet Marcus Thompson, a 40-year-old teacher who moved his family underwater 5 years ago. His morning routine would seem alien to us, yet completely normal to him. He wakes not to an alarm, but to the sunrise filtered through 60 feet of water. The light arrives softer, bluer, more gradual than surface sunrise. His bedroom wall adjusts transparency automatically, giving him privacy at night and ocean views by morning. How do you build a city underwater? Let's start with the most critical element: pressure. At 60 feet deep, water pressure is nearly 3 times surface level. Traditional buildings would implode. Miami's solution? Geodesic dome structures made from transparent aluminum. The commute to school is unlike anything on the surface. Sophia and James board a underwater shuttle pod at their dome's transit station. The pod travels through transparent tunnels at 30 miles per hour. Their 8-minute journey showcases a live marine ecosystem better than any aquarium. Their school sits in its own dome, but with a unique feature. The classroom walls are partially transparent. Lessons about marine biology happen with actual marine life swimming past. History lessons about surface Miami feel like ancient civilization studies to these children. Marcus teaches at the same school. His marine biology classes have unfair advantages. When teaching about coral reproduction, he points to the actual reef outside. When explaining fish behavior, students observe it in real time. Education transformed from abstract to experiential. Lunch happens in the dome's central plaza. Yes, plaza. Underground Miami maintains outdoor concepts, just enclosed in domes. The Central Commons of Aqua District 7 features real grass, transplanted palm trees, and a small artificial beach with real sand. Evening entertainment rivals anything on the surface. The Poseidon Theater offers performances where actors and marine life share the stage. During a production of The Tempest, real sharks swam past the transparent back wall during storm scenes. No special effects needed. The Thompson family ends their day in their living room. Marcus reads while Sophia does homework. James plays a holographic game. Outside their window, a pod of dolphins swims past, playing in the dome lights. Just another Tuesday in Miami 2080. Living underwater is fascinating. But how does the economy work? How do people earn money? The answer: Miami became the world's capital of three industries. First, marine biotechnology. The coral engineering that built the city spawned hundreds of biotech companies. Companies worldwide license Miami's bioengineered coral technology. Every coastal city building underwater habitats pays licensing fees to Miami firms. This created an intellectual property gold mine worth hundreds of billions annually. Second industry, extreme tourism. By 2080, underwater Miami hotels host 5 million visitors annually. People pay premium prices to sleep with the fishes. Literally. The Hotel Atlantis charges $3,000 per night and maintains 98% occupancy. Tourists come for experiences impossible anywhere else. Underwater restaurants where you dine surrounded by 360-degree ocean views. Coral reef massages where treatment rooms float on the ocean floor. Shark encounter pods that descend beyond the domes into open ocean. The third industry surprised everyone: data centers. Computer servers generate heat. Cooling them is expensive on the surface. Underwater, the ocean provides free, endless cooling. By 2075, Miami hosted 30% of the world's data infrastructure. Tech companies relocated entire campuses underwater. MetaCity, Amazon Coral Campus, and Google Deep all established headquarters in subsurface Miami. The city became Silicon Valley's ocean-going competitor, attracting young talent who chose adventure over California suburbia. Employment rates in underwater Miami reached 96%, higher than anywhere in the United States. Why? Because the city attracted ambitious people willing to live differently. Risk-takers, innovators, the kind of people who build economies. Real estate development became an art form. Architects competed to design the most spectacular underwater structures. The Coral Towers won the Pritzker Prize in 2078. Residential buildings that looked grown rather than built, because they partially were. Property values created interesting dynamics. Surface Miami still existed and thrived, but underwater properties commanded premium prices. The status symbol shifted. The wealthy displayed success by living deeper, not higher. By 2080, underwater Miami's GDP exceeded $120 billion annually, higher than 30 U.S. states. The city that everyone predicted would die became the economic engine of the entire Southeast. Ocean rising wasn't apocalypse. It was opportunity. But life underwater isn't paradise. Challenges exist that surface dwellers never face. Psychological adjustment is the first hurdle. The constant awareness of being surrounded by ocean, separated from open sky by transparent walls, causes anxiety in some residents. Experts call it habitat adjustment syndrome. About 15% of new residents experience it. Symptoms include claustrophobia, insomnia, and persistent anxiety. Most adjust within 6 months. Some never do and return to the surface. Children adapt fastest. Kids born underwater know nothing else. To them, seeing sky is the unusual experience. Schools identified a generational divide. First-generation migrants from surface versus second-generation underwater natives viewing reality completely differently. Medical challenges emerged unexpectedly. Humans living at constant pressure developed slightly higher bone density. Beneficial. But transitioning between surface and subsurface required decompression protocols. Quick emergency evacuation became impossible without risking nitrogen narcosis. Hurricane season still posed risks. Not from wind or rain, obviously, but massive surface wave action created turbulence at depth. During Hurricane Rafael in 2077, structural stress caused minor leaks in 3 domes. All were sealed quickly, but the incident revealed vulnerability. The city implemented new protocols. Advanced warning systems monitor ocean conditions. Redundant structural integrity checks happen weekly. Emergency protocols drill residents quarterly. The goal: make underwater living safer than surface living during extreme weather. Environmental impact sparked ongoing debate. Critics argued that underwater construction damaged reef ecosystems. Marine biologists countered that Miami's bioengineered structures actually expanded coral coverage beyond historical levels. The data supported both sides. Some native species populations declined, but overall marine biodiversity increased. The structures created artificial reef habitats. Previously barren sandy bottoms now teemed with life. Nature adapted, just like humans. Social inequality remained Miami's persistent problem. Underwater living costs excluded lower-income families. Affordable housing initiatives lagged behind luxury developments. By 2080, critics accused the city of creating an ocean-going, gated community for the wealthy. The city government responded with the Equity Depths Initiative in 2079, subsidized housing programs, workforce apartments in new developments, student housing near universities. Progress was real but slow. The promise of underwater Miami for everyone remained unfulfilled but actively pursued. Perhaps the most unexpected consequence of underwater living was the relationship humans developed with marine life. After decades of coexistence, something remarkable happened. Dolphins began initiating interaction with underwater residents. Marine biologists documented behavior changes. Dolphins learned to recognize individual humans. They returned to specific domes at consistent times. Some researchers believe dolphins developed proto-names for human individuals, using unique whistle patterns. Children growing up underwater developed intuitive understanding of marine body language. They read fish behavior better than trained surface aquarists. Schools taught marine literacy as a core subject. These kids weren't just living near the ocean. They were becoming part of its community. The most controversial development? The Symbiosis Program. Started in 2076, it trained select individuals to work alongside dolphins in ocean floor maintenance. Human-dolphin teams inspecting infrastructure, clearing debris, and monitoring ecosystem health. Critics called it exploitation. Supporters argued dolphins participated voluntarily and could leave anytime. The Ethics Committee studied the program for 3 years. Their conclusion? The dolphins were neither pets nor employees. They were colleagues, partners who chose to engage. By 2080, interspecies collaboration extended beyond dolphins. Octopuses learned to operate simple tools provided by researchers. Sea turtles followed regular routes through the city, using domes as navigation landmarks. Groupers established territories around specific buildings, becoming unofficial guardians. Some philosophers argued humanity had created the first true multi-species city. Not humans living among animals, but humans and animals as co-inhabitants, each bringing their own perspective and needs to shared spaces. Despite thriving underwater, Miami never abandoned the surface. The city exists in both realms, connected, interdependent. Surface Miami in 2080 looks dramatically different too. It became the transition zone, the interface between air and ocean. Surface Miami specialized in what it does best: hospitality, entertainment, and sky access. Beaches were rebuilt on floating platforms that rise and fall with tides. Nightclubs and restaurants operated above the waves, offering what underwater residents sometimes craved: open air and infinite sky. The commute between surface and subsurface became part of daily rhythm. Express elevators descended in 90 seconds, passing through decompression zones automatically. Workers might have breakfast on a surface terrace, work underwater, and return topside for evening entertainment. Cultural exchange flowed both ways. Underwater residents brought surface dwellers oceanic perspectives. Surface residents reminded underwater neighbors of wind, rain, and clouds. Both communities needed each other. Miami proved that adaptation doesn't mean abandonment. Other coastal cities watched Miami's success with envy and hope. By 2080, construction began on underwater districts in New Orleans, Charleston, San Diego, and Boston. Miami proved the model, the blueprint for humanity's aquatic future. The city that everyone said would drown instead showed humanity how to breathe underwater. Miami didn't conquer the ocean. It joined it. And in that joining, discovered that human civilization doesn't end at the waterline. It expands beyond it. This has been Miami 2080, America's first underwater city, where 300,000 people wake each morning to sharks swimming past their windows, where children learn mathematics while dolphins play outside their classroom, where humanity proved that rising seas don't have to mean retreat. Sometimes the greatest innovations come from accepting what we cannot change and reimagining what we thought was impossible. Miami didn't fight the ocean. It became part of it, and in doing so, showed us our future doesn't end where the water begins.